But once they are born, they have all the rights, isn't it? Yes, they have all the rights. That's why we're saying, let the children be granted their rights. I mean, their rights, rather. Either their parents, if their parents fail, then it has to be somebody else. So this was the last point, and reasons why we need to carry out advocacy for the children. Questions this far? Okay. Seems there are no questions.
So they can also be taken as roles of children in advocacy?
No. We'll talk about roles of children in advocacy next. Because role is like how they should participate. So, under this, we were looking at why they should be involved in advocacy. So, now let's talk about roles. Okay, so like I pointed out earlier, when you look at advocacy, children have to participate. They should not be passive. They should not be passive, but they should be active. Active meaning they should contribute their views to what is happening. And not just contributing their views, sometimes they also need to take part. So for example, you can organize activities. For instance, an awareness campaign. You can organize an awareness campaign in a particular community. So you can decide to go to Mtandile and say, we want this community to know about the negative effect of teenage pregnancies. Or maybe teenage pregnancies is dealing with older and grown-up children. Okay. But we can talk about trying to make the community aware about the importance of getting children to early learning, nursery schools, preschools. Early learning is early childhood education. So if you organize that particular activity, two things can happen. One, you can consult children themselves, and then you can also make them participate. Of course, we are talking about young children, maybe 5-year-olds children or 6-year-olds. So, in so doing, it means you have done two things. One, you have obtained views Do you enjoy going to school? Like a preschool center, preschool program? So they can answer, yeah, we enjoy it because the teacher gives us porridge. I enjoy it because we have fun. The play center or the playground has got equipment, seesaw, trampolines. There is a lot of toys we play with. I get to make friends. Those are reasons not coming from grown-ups. You know, my reasons are many more young than people. You can't find them to be important, isn't it? Yeah. They will tell you and you say, So now it means for school, it's meeting Gamavani is up. Okay. Deputy, if you're organizing an awareness campaign, you can go and talk to the community to say, look, children are supposed to go to preschools. Just because just because you heard from the children. So views are important for children to participate. When children are participating, you can get views. The second way is by taking the children to the actual activity. I remember one time, 2 years ago, that's 2021. It's not very far. 2021. We were doing an activity with parents, but it was about parenting. So we were teaching them on some of the strategies for them to take care of the children. 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, even babies. So what we did, we sent a message to the community. We said, oh, look here, we are coming, we are going to train you on parenting. But each one of you, when you are coming to the meeting, you must carry your child. You get it? Mm-hmm. Take your child with you. If you've got 2 children, winner is 4, winner is 5, whichever age range, or currently in the 5 years below, bring them. Yeah, so they're like, some of us have got many children. No, don't worry, bring them. Can I 5, mango, 1 year, bring them. Okay? Yeah? So we did that deliberately because we wanted them to know that we are not only interested in them, but we are also interested in the children. When we actually want to see the type of children that we are referring to, and when we are giving them examples, we can say, look at this child, for example. And it was fun because we were able to say, for example, you as a parent, you have come here, you have dressed properly, but look at the child. So activities which are about children, the children can also take part. So what I'm saying is there are 2 ways of involving children in advocacy. You can write that one down. 2 ways of involving children in advocacy. Two ways of involving children in advocacy. The first way is through child-centered advocacy. Through a child-centered advocacy. first way. The second way is through what is called a child-led advocacy. Child-centered advocacy. That's number two. Number one, child-led advocacy. Okay. So what is a child-led advocacy?
So how do you spell it?
L-E-D.
Lead.
L-E-D.
Okay.
You write child, then you write a dash, and then L-E-D, led. So for the past tense of lead. So, what is child-centered advocacy? This is when children are involved in our adult-led advocacy. Child-centered advocacy is when children are involved in our adult-led advocacy. So children are involved in our adult-led advocacy. It means that their interests are central and that their voices are heard. It means that their interests are central, they are at the center, and that their voices are heard. It further means that we have involved children in defining an advocacy strategy. It further means that we have involved children in defining an advocacy strategy that has got their interests at the center, and in which their voices are clearly heard. Okay, so the interests are at the center and in which their voices are clearly heard. Okay, child-centered advocacy means that activities are based on the needs expressed by children. Child-centered advocacy means that activities are based on the needs expressed by children. It means that activities are based, you see, on the needs expressed by children, and for the most part, not on the perceptions of the adults. Child-centered advocacy means that activities are based on the needs expressed by children, and for the most part, not on the perceptions we as adults have as to what their needs are. A bit confusing statement. So child-centered advocacy means that activities are based on the needs expressed, presented by the children, and for the most part, not on what we think are the needs of the children, not on the perceptions we as adults have as to what their needs are. So in short, what it means here is child-centered advocacy. It involves advocacy, which is led by adults, but informed by children. So children are consulted, they express their views, their voices are heard, and they define the advocacy strategy. Okay, so that's child-centered. Let's look at child-led advocacy. So child-led advocacy is where children carry out the advocacy on the issues they have selected themselves according to their key priorities. Okay? Child-led advocacy is where children carry out advocacy on issues they have selected themselves according to their key priorities. According to their key priorities. So in child-led advocacy, children carry out advocacy based on issues that are of prime concern to them. So in child-led advocacy, children carry out advocacy based on issues that are of prime concern. In child-led advocacy, children carry out advocacy based on issues that are of prime concern to them, with the support and assistance of organizations and other supportive adults in their lives, communities, and countries. Okay. So in child-led advocacy, children carry out advocacy based on issues that are of prime concern to them, with the support and assistance of organizations and other supportive adults in their lives, communities, and countries. So in this type of child advocacy, the children are in the forefront. They don't only express their views, but they also carry out their activities. Just like the first type of child advocacy, here they also express what they want. They explain their priorities, what is important. Yeah? So I can give an example of certain circumstances and situations where we as adults think that maybe children need A, B, C. But when you ask them, you realize they need X, Y, Z. So you may think, no, this child needs to be disciplined because they seem they don't like school. So they need to be forced to go to school. They need to be forced, right? They need to be forced to attend classes. So the teacher might be trying to do that. Forcing the child to show interest, maybe in schoolwork. to an extent of trying to punish the child, discipline the child. You know? Not knowing what is causing the lack of interest. If one line I want some interest. You know? Come you find somebody, another child which doesn't show any liking for school. So you can have all different sorts of ideas. Maybe the child is just lazy, this and that. As a teacher, what happens? If you try to find out from the child himself or herself, treating the child very well. Maybe use something to make him or her open up. What will happen is you hear the child will say, maybe my mom doesn't show me any attention. My dad maybe is not at home. He's usually away, travels, goes to work, and only comes once in a week. What is the child trying to communicate to you? He or she lacks the love, the attention, lacks the communication, lacks the parental care, lacks parental presence. So those are emotional needs. And if a teacher discovers that and fills the gap, begins to show attention to the child, begins to talk nicely to the child, you see that the issue of interest in the child will come what? Automatically. Why? You have now discovered what is the actual need of the child, rather than assuming. So in child-led advocacy, we investigate from the children themselves what their needs are. What they need maybe is not a fancy school bag. You may run around as a parent trying to buy a very nice school bag with wheels. You think this one is going to make him or her love school. Bring it to, take it to her, take it to him. Nothing happens. Maybe an expensive toy you should buy. These days you've got car toys. We buy that one, 300,000, 400,000. Give it to the child, thinking they will love being at home. They will stop fighting. They will stop causing havoc in the house. And you find the child, you've just wasted your money. So you need to realize that children have got needs. If you take time to investigate what the child needs, you will find it. You find out. You know, again, I got a Facebook out. Kulimwambi mjijewa mati. Amalisha, ubadeka, uzao na maso wangu. Do you understand it?
I do get some things.
Mkonoma is it? Snail. Yeah. So in Jijewa we've got, yes, we call it a proverb. Amati ukafatsa. Edi? Ukafatsa. Uzao na maso wangu. Meaning, if you are patient, so the snail, it brings its eyes down. It only brings them up when you are very patient. You're quiet, you wait, then it will bring up the eyes. So you need to be patient in order to see those eyes. So there is that one being. There's that problem. So somebody was making fun of that problem and say, these days, all of us that to what? You can wait. And then you never see those eyes coming up. What has happened to snails nowadays? They are also having their own issues. Okay. So the point is, we need to take our time to understand the children, and the children will open up and begin to tell us their struggles, their issues. and then you're going to address those issues. So that's child-led advocacy. Okay. Let me also point out here on the same. Advocacy is a collaborative activity. It's a collaborative activity. It's not a one man's show. Yes, sometimes it can be done by one person, an individual. But in most cases, advocacy is effective when there is collaboration or partnerships. So you can be one person and you're interested to address a certain problem. You feel maybe children are going through. All right? There is need to identify, saying who else can support me in this cause? Who else can support me fight or help or assist these children? Because in so doing, that's when you're going to make your activities effective. So you can identify organizations, you can identify other individuals, you can identify communities, even countries, to assist. So it can be an organization, you in an organization, and you say, we are here to fight for the rights of the children. Don't do it alone. Police are other stakeholders. The judiciary is also another stakeholder. Remember, the judiciary, this is where laws are handled. Not made per se, but they are handled. There are some issues you need to take them to court. So you need also to know which court. Do you know there is a children's court? Special court to handle children's issues. So some issues will not always end in the court, but some. Because you meet people out there who are so resistant. They will say, look at you, young lady, what do you know? Why are you here? This doesn't concern you. This is between me and my wife, my family, my children. They talk a lot of things, yet they are abusing children, yet they are oppressing children, all sorts of things to children. So you really need to be strong and say, you know what? You may look at me as just a small girl. I don't know anything, but there are laws. So if you need me to take you to the court, then I'll do that. So what we're saying is you need to collaborate. Collaborate with the leaders in the community. So you have got so many, we call them gatekeepers in the community. Amfumu, Dunas Amfumu, and there are so many structures in the communities. Timakanima VDC community, Village Development Community. They are there. You will find area development committees there. You've got child protection workers in the community. You've got so many child facilitators in the community. So you engage with those to help. Is this making sense? Good. All right. So when it comes to role of children in advocacy, then there are two ways of involving. They can participate by or through child-centered advocacy. They can also participate through child-led advocacy. I want you to notice the differences. I want you to notice the differences. When I'm talking of child-centered and when I'm talking of child-led advocacy, I want you to notice how similar and also how different. Okay, any questions? Sure.
So in this course, can you go for what? For attachments? If you want to learn more. So
Yeah, yes, you can. You're allowed, but you can only do that during holidays.
now, so do you come to observe?
During the attachment?
Yes.
No, we don't. But we make arrangements where you are.
So meaning I can
Two things. When you're there, you have to compile a report of the activities that you're doing. And another report will be compiled by a supervisor where you are.
So meaning I can do it in my country?
Sure, yeah. Because it's not a requirement that we go and visit you, unless you want us to come and visit. And say, come, Mr. Kandari, we want you to, then I'll come, because you're going to pay, an air ticket. Going to shoulder the transport costs. So where are you based? Like in Zambia? Lusaka. I might be going to Lusaka. Is it next month? Is it March? Yeah, there's a conference there, so might be one of the people speaking. Sure.
So you can go in any NGO or maybe
NGO in preschool programs.
Preschool programs, then you will be a teacher or what are you?
Yes, you'll be a teacher. Like a preschool program, you have to be a teacher.
But I did that already in Zambia.
You did that.
So I would like to have another experience.
Yeah. Then an NGO will be better for you. Because that's when you be engaged in community child work. Yeah. So you deal with child work and development aspects of child development, child work. So nutrition, sanitation, hygiene, health, child protection, parenting programs, all those.
So when I'm ready, I can come and tell you.
Yeah, when you're ready, let me know. Let me know. Fine. You wanted to ask?
Yes.
I'm
confused.
Don't be confused.
On child centered, you said this is when children are involved in our adult in their voice and head. Does it mean that the children are the ones who bring like ideas of who brought issues that they're affecting them, then they also come up with solutions to them and ask others to help them?
How it's done? Well, the children will not initiate the whole process. It should be adults. That's why it's adult-led. And generally, any advocacy, it should be adults organizing or initiating the process. But they don't just go and begin to carry out the activities. They first of all talk to the children. So through talking, then they get the views. Through talking, then they understand the problems. And through talking, then they can come up with strategies. And if children are able, they can also contribute, because the strategy is like how you go about solving. So the children can also give their views and say, this is our problem, but we feel you should not involve such a person. Because that one was also part of the problem. Okay? So it means in so doing, they have informed your strategy, the advocacy strategy. They have also, contributed to the whole advocacy through their ideas. Their voices have been taken on board. But the adults are the ones doing the whole thing. You get it? Yeah. Because we want to protect the children. We not allow the children to be at the center of the whole thing. By consulting them, talking to them, hearing what their interests are, it means now your advocacy is child-centered. Okay? Good question. Let me move on to benefits of involving children in child advocacy. Benefits of involving children in child advocacy through both child-led and child-centered advocacy. Number one, it brings ideas from children's reality and adults are able to see the problem and the solutions from children's perspective. Brings ideas from children's reality, and adults are able to see the problem and the solutions from children's perspectives. Brings ideas from children's reality, and adults will be able to see the problem and the solutions from children's perspectives. Number two, second benefit, children will be able, in other words, children will have ownership of the solutions from the advocacy. Children will have ownership of the solutions from the advocacy. Children will have ownership of the solutions from the advocacy. Number three, children will be visible. Children will be visible. And there will be an acceptance. And there will be an acceptance of children as social actors and active citizens. children will be visible, and there will be an acceptance of children as social actors and active citizens. Children will be visible, and there will be an acceptance of children as social actors and active citizens. That's point number 3, right? Yes. Number 4. Children will learn new skills and gain self-confidence. Children will learn new skills and gain self-confidence. Children will learn new skills and gain self-confidence. Number 5. Number 5. Number 5. When children participate or are involved in advocacy, it generates more commitment from adults. When children are involved in advocacy, it generates more confidence from adults. Generates commitment from others. How many have I shared? 5. Okay, so let's talk about them a little bit. So like we've already seen, we can involve children through child-led advocacy and child-centered advocacy. And then what we're saying is, when this happens, then advocacy is done using real problems that children are facing. So that's a benefit. And by the way, when we say benefit, is the same as significance. We know what advocacy. So it will bring ideas from children's reality, and then adults are able to see the problem and the solution from the children's perspective. Secondly, ownership. So when children participate and they are involved, they will not complain when the results come, because they were part of the process. Unlike when you do it on your own and you bring solutions, children can challenge and say, what you have brought to us is not what we want. And you can't argue just because you did not involve them. When they take part, what happens? When the results come, they cannot argue, they cannot complain. So they take ownership of results and solutions which come. Number 3, we are saying children become visible as social actors. So in most cases, children are passive. In most cases, children, they just hear about issues. But when you begin to get them involved, they become social actors. And I like point number 4. Children gain confidence. So the more you talk to the children, and they talk back to you, they build confidence. They build ability to communicate. Just because as they are growing, they are used to talking. So that's the one of the importance of getting children to be involved in our advocacy activities. This is room number 4. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Now, I want us to discuss the barriers or challenges to participation of children in advocacy. So let's put it as barriers to effective child's participation in advocacy. Barriers to effective children's participation in advocacy. Barriers to effective children's participation in advocacy. Here, we are trying to understand some of the challenges that will prevent children from participating in advocacy. So we're calling it barriers to effective children's participation in advocacy. Okay. Can I proceed? Or somebody is behind? Fine. So much as children's participation in advocacy has got a lot of benefits, but it also comes together with challenges, barriers. So, number 1, the barrier just a minute. Let me see. I need to do this. Okay. Fine, yeah. Let's talk about the first barrier. Number 1, children are not informed on issues that affect them. Children are not informed on issues that affect them. Children are not informed on issues that affect them. That's the first barrier. Secondly, children are unaware of what advocacy is and how they can be involved. Children are unaware, or they are not aware. Children are not aware of what advocacy is and how they can get involved. They are unaware of what advocacy is and how they can be involved. Number 3, children cannot access decision-making processes. Children cannot access decision-making processes. Children cannot access decision-making processes. And number 4, they lack the capacity to engage in games. How many have I given you? 4. So these are barriers according to the children. So from children's perspectives, those are the 4 barriers. Now, I want us to look at the barriers from adults' perspective. So from adults' perspective, number 1, lack of understanding of what we mean by participation. Lack of understanding of what we mean by participation. So most adults, to them, they have no clue or no idea of what we mean by making children participate in advocacy. So Christine also asked the same. See? So it's a challenge. If most adults don't know, it's difficult to involve the children. So it's a barrier. Number 2, lack of time, skills, resources to carry out advocacy properly. Lack of time, skills, and resources to carry out advocacy properly. So you can agree with me, most adults, their main focus is on making money. So go to work, go to businesses, do this, tamanga patauni, you know. So they don't have that time to say, guys, let's do advocacy. I think it's not a priority. Some would want to do it, but maybe they don't have the resources, or they don't have the skills. So it's a challenge. Number 3, negative or preconceived attitudes towards children by adults. Negative or preconceived attitudes toward children by adults. Negative or preconceived attitudes towards children by adults. It's a challenge when we want children to participate. So you can have a brilliant idea to say, let's involve children, let's find out from the children what they're going through, and you are telling your colleagues. But your colleagues have got negative and preconceived attitudes. They will not accept your ideas. So they will say, no need to consult the children. Your children don't know anything. They are young, it's immature. They can't tell us, So that negativity, even if you have a brilliant idea of involving children, it will act as, do you get what I'm trying to say? Number 4, children's role or roles and status in society leads to participation not being seen as a priority. Children's roles and status in society leads to participation not being seen as a priority. Children's roles and status in society leads to participation not being seen as a priority. So this is the last point, and it also marks the end of our lesson for today. Unless we have questions, we can finish with that. Silence means people have no questions, they are confused, or they got everything 100%. They can sign the attendance.